A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online session on Programming for Problem Solving course. In our previous video, we started your fifth unit. In that, the pointers concept we started. The applications of pointers we discussed, the declaration, definition, and how we can access the memory locations with the help of addresses. That is nothing but with the help of pointers we discussed in your previous session. And we have also discussed the reasons for starting fifth unit prior to the discussion of fourth unit. That also we discussed. So in today's session we'll continue with the remaining concepts in pointers. So we said, yeah, the usage of pointers and what exactly this pointer is, that we have discussed. The introduction to pointers, that is nothing but the definition, what is a pointer constant, and how the memory pool is going to get addresses. At the time of compilation, how your variable names, how your identifiers are allocated with the proper memories, and how these memory locations are going to have addresses in your computer. Those things we discussed. And in order to extract, or in order to get the address, we said we're going to use ampersand symbol. And if you simply put the ampersand symbol before the variable name, you will get the address of that variable location. Okay, so to print the address, we said percentile p we use. And we have also demonstrated how we can print the address of a particular variable on the output screen with the help of C program. I have demonstrated that one. And variable, pointer variable, we said we can also declare a pointer variable. So to declare a pointer variable, simply we have to suffix the asterisk symbol after the type name. So whenever you are declaring a pointer type, the type of that pointer must match with the type of variable's address what you are going to store into that pointer. So suppose if you have an integer variable, you need to declare an integer pointer. If you have a character variable to store the address, you need to declare a character pointer. Likewise we said. So uh, yes, a single variable's address we can store in multiple pointers. Okay, so if you have a single variable, that variable address you can store in multiple pointers. And if you want your pointer not to point anything in the computer memory, then you have to make it as null. This is something like avoiding the garbage values in your program. So whenever you are declaring a variable, simply to avoid the garbage value, what we are doing, we are initializing that variable with 0. And in that same way, if you are declaring a pointer and initially you are not assigning any address to it, then simply make it null so as to avoid the garbage values into that pointer. So how we can access the variables through pointers, in the sense, simply with the help of indirection operator or redirection operator. Both names give the same meaning, indirection or redirection. The operator which we use is the asterisk operator or star operator. So in order to indirect a particular variable's value, okay, if you have an address, from that address if you want to get the value, apply the indirection operator. Okay, so these examples we discussed, and we said indirection operator and address operator are inverse to each other, inverse of each other. Inverse in the sense, simply they will cancel each other. So applying indirection as well as address operator together is same like giving the variable name itself, because these two operators, they will cancel each other. Okay, this concept also we discussed in our previous session. Then pointer declaration and definition, how we do, simply suffix the asterisk symbol after the type name, after the type specification, to get to declare a pointer variable. Okay, so like this normal variable declaration, we specify only the type followed by the identifier. But pointer type declaration, we need to specify asterisks as well. We need to suffix the type name with asterisks followed by the identifier name. So now this identifier will become a pointer. Okay, on this also we discussed the program examples. Then declaration versus redirection. because for declaration as well as for redirection we are using the same operator, that is asterisk operator, isn't it? Same symbol, what I mean to say, that is asterisk symbol. You need to be cautious when you are doing the declaration and when you are doing the redirection. So in declaration what we do generally, suffix the asterisks, that is nothing but the star operator after the type name. So this is declaration int star ptr. Now this ptr will become a pointer of type integer. So this is how we declare the pointer. Now in redirection what we do, this star, this asterisk symbol before the variable name, we prefix before the variable name, and this variable, when you are prefixing, this variable should to be a pointer only. Okay, you cannot prefix the star, that is asterisk operator, before a normal variable. Okay, because your normal variable will not hold any address, will not contain any address, you can't apply this indirection operator on a normal variable. So whenever you are applying this indirection operator on a particular variable, make sure that variable should be a pointer, that variable should hold some address so that you can retrieve the value from there. Okay, so initialization of pointers, we discussed this one also. Like every other variable, every other object in C, pointers must be initialized before they can be used. Okay, without initialization they will hold the unknown value or garbage value, and if you leave these pointers uninitialized, they will also hold some unknown value or garbage value, we can say. Okay, so in today's session, we'll discuss a concept called pointers to pointers. So it is also possible to have pointers to other pointers. Okay, so the concept is very simple to understand, and we also after explanation of the concept, we also see some example programs on this one, so as to have the clarity on how these pointers to pointers will work. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so the concept of pointers to pointers, what knowledge we have, based on that only I will try to explain this pointers to pointers concept. Let me just see how far we are. Okay, so quickly go to the whiteboard application. So let us say we are declaring a normal variable. So that is integer a equals to 20. Okay, integer a equals to 20 we are saying. So now what will happen, for this variable a, you will get a memory location of type integer. Okay, this is your a, and this variable is going to hold 20 as value. Okay, so let me just go to the demonstration together. Shall we do? Yes, take one empty source file and start writing the program stdio.h. So then int main of void, and I'm doing a variable declaration like this to 20. So now what I'm trying to do is I will print both the value as well as address of this a variable. Percentile d for value, percentile p for address. So value, simply pass a, and address and percent a. at the end put the semicolon and save the project, I mean save the program. So this program we uh, okay, give any name, pointer uh, dot c. Okay, hit the enter key, program got saved. Now compile. As you can see, compilation is successful. Now execute. See what address? 62FE1C. 62FE1C. This is my address and this is my value. So this variable, when I have executed, is taking the address 62FE1C. 62FE1C. Okay. So after this, what I will do is to store this address. So this is my value, this is my address, and this is my identifier. This is my identifier. So now to store the address of this variable, I'm declaring a pointer. How we can declare? Int star. Int star, as I'm storing the address of A, I'm declaring APTR. APTR. Okay. So this is my APTR. So quickly we go and check what this APTR's address is, because being a pointer variable, it will also consume some memory from the computer. To store the address, again we need memory. To store this address, again we need memory from the computer. And ultimately what the compiler will do is, this compiler will declare this APTR and allocate some memory so that this pointer APTR is capable of holding this address. So if you do like this, APTR equals to and percent A. So now what we have done, we have stored the address. We have stored the address of A into this APTR. So what will happen? This 62FE1C will come over here. 62FE1C will come over here. So indirectly, this APTR is going to point this A. Indirectly, it is pointing to A. Okay. So quickly, I will check the address, I mean I will check the content of this APTR, and we also check what address this APTR is having. Being a variable, being a memory location in computer memory, what address? I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking content address. I'm talking about the address of this memory location. Okay. So simply we go and we see. So what I have to do, I have to declare one pointer int star APTR. So now APTR is a pointer variable. So it will also consume some memory from the computer. So in that memory, I'm storing the address of A. So now what I will do, take a simple printf statement to know the address as well as to know the content of the APTR. So uh, because the content of APTR, again it is an address, so to print that one we need pointer only, and to print the address of APTR, again one pointer, one more pointer. See here, so to print the content of APTR, what we have to do, pass APTR. Okay, so this will print the actual content of APTR, that is a variable address, isn't it? That is a variable address. Here you put \n so as to get the values in the next line. So next thing, I want to print APTR address. I want to print APTR address. So now you check at the end, put the semicolon, save the program. Program got saved. Now execute, compile. Compilation, hopefully it is successful. See, when I'm executing, you can see here the address. See, first what I am doing, I am printing a variable content. A variable, it is holding 20, so that 20 we are getting over here. Then and percent A, address of A, that is 62FE1C. 62FE1C. Then what I am doing in my next line, I am printing the content of APTR. Content of APTR, it is containing the address of A, because here we initialized APTR with ampersand A. So APTR is holding the address of A. So you can see this and this same, this and this same, because APTR is holding the address of A. That address we are getting over here. So in the next statement, I mean in the next percentile P, we are printing the address of APTR. So address of APTR is 62FE10, 62FE10. So go to your whiteboard. So here the address of this location is 62FE1010. This is the address of APTR. Now, if I want to store the address of this APTR, so what I have to do, I have to declare a pointer to pointer. Okay, see, for storing the address of integer, we declare a pointer int star. For storing the address of integer, we declared a pointer int star. For storing the address of integer, we declared a pointer int star. For storing the address of int star, what type of variable we need? We need int star star. One more star you just add. So int pointer to pointer, int double star. So this variable, whatever you are going to declare, is capable of holding the address of a pointer, not a normal variable, address of a pointer. So now what I will do, APTR to sorry, not APTR, PTR to APTR, PTR pointer to APTR, like this I am declaring, pointer to APTR. So now what I will do, in this I can store the address of APTR. So APTR to APTR equals to ampersand APTR, storing the address of APTR. So what will happen? Here we are declaring this PTR to APTR. It is a memory location. And in that memory location, what we are storing? We are storing the address of APTR. This address we are storing. So 62 FE10, FE10 we are storing. 62 FE10 we are storing. So what will happen? This will point this. This will point this. So quickly go and check whether this thing will happen or not. So what we have to do? Declare another pointer to pointer. So int star star, we set int star star PTR to pointer to APTR. Okay. So in that pointer to APTR, PTR to APTR, store the address of APTR. That's it. Now take another printf statement and print the values. Printf. So now backslash n, we print both the addresses only. Star p, modulo p, modulus p, percentile p. So next is what we have to do. We have to print the content of PTR to APTR. PTR to APTR. So this will hold the address of APTR. So next, address of PTR to PTR, ampersand PTR to APTR. Okay, like this, PTR to APTR. So next, save it, compile it, okay, then execute it. As you can see over here, it is a very interesting phenomenon. In A, we are having the value 20, and A's address is 62FE1C, which we are storing into APTR, 62FE1C. And this APTR's content is 62FE1C that we are printing over here, 62FE1C. And APTR's address is 62FE10. 62FE10. From here we are getting that one, 62FE10. And inside, to store the address of APTR, we have declared another pointer, that is PTR to APTR. This is PTR to APTR. Inside PTR to APTR, we are storing the address of APTR. So this is, what is that APTR address? In the sense, this address we are storing into PTR to APTR. Okay, here we got that one. And the address of PTR to APTR is 62FE08. 62FE08. Here, the address of PTR to APTR. This address, this memory location address, 62FE08. 62FE08. Now, in that same way, you can declare another pointer. So, another pointer to store the address of this PTR to APTR. I mean, one more nesting I am saying. So, how you can int add one more star. Okay, third level pointer, add one more style. This is first level, this is second level. I am declaring a third level pointer. Add one more star and give the name PTR2 PTR2 APTR. APTR, like this. Now, this PTR pointer to APTR is capable of PTR2 PTR2 APTR is capable of holding the address of PTR2 APTR, like this. So what is this? This is another memory location, uh, that is PTR2 PTR2 APTR, which is capable of holding third level. It is a third level pointer, isn't it? It is a third level pointer capable of holding the second level pointer's address. So second level pointer, this one, this address you can store here. Yeah, here not like this, you have to put ampersand, then 62FE08, like this we are storing. So this will point over here. See, your normal one first level pointer is pointing a variable, second level pointer is pointing the first level pointer, third level pointer is pointing the second level pointer, like this. And this second level pointer, third level pointer is also going to have some address, and that address also you can store into another variable, fourth level pointer. So like this you can have many what we call links. Using pointers you can have many links. So what we have done over here, first we declared variable a. That variable a address we stored into PTR, sorry, not PTR, APTR. We stored into APTR, and this address we stored into PTR2 APTR, PTR2 APTR, and this address we stored into PTR2 PTR2 APTR. So like this you can have many levels of pointers. There is no limit on that one. You can have as much as your patience is, as much as your requirement is, that many levels of pointers you can use into your program. Okay, so quickly we will go to the slide and we'll see what we have over there. So this discussion, each level of pointer indirection requires a separate indirection operator when it is dereferenced. So now how we do the dereferencing? See here, in order to get the a value from this pointer APTR, what we have to do, just go to your IDE. Okay, so I have stored the address of a into APTR. So if I want to get, now I will remove all these things because this concept is over. So suppose if I want to retrieve the value of a, so printf using a variable, how I am doing that one? Simply put %d. Okay, put %d and pass the variable a. Okay, that's it, pass the variable a, because this is an identifier, direct variable, so no need of any extra what we call indirection operators. So directly you can access the value because the variable identifier itself holding the value, so you are getting the value from a variable. Now suppose if I want to access the a's value using APTR, how many times, what indirection operator you have to apply? So that is printf, one time you have to apply the indirection operator, \n %d, comma, one time you have to apply the indirection operator on APTR, because APTR is holding the address of a. So apply indirection only once. Compile. Yeah, here I forgot the semicolon. So semicolon you put, save it, compile, compilation successful. Now you go and see. So 2020. So from A we are getting 20, and from star APTR, from applying indirection on address, we are getting 20. So suppose if you want to retrieve the value using this PTR2 APTR, A's value using this PTR2 APTR, already we said that we are already at second level pointer, so you have to do the indirection twice. First indirection will take you from here to here. First indirection, yani if you apply indirection once, you will reach from here to here, and when you apply the indirection second time, you will reach from here to here likewise. So two times you have to apply the indirection. So using that PTR to APTR, how I can access A's value in the sense backslash n percentile d comma and star PTR to APTR like this. Okay, PTR to APTR. So now I'm accessing the value of A. So what you will get in the output, 3 times 20 you will get. See, 3 times 20 you will get. So if you are declaring another pointer, okay, a fourth level pointer, sorry, third level pointer as we discussed, star, third level pointer, that is PTR2, PTR2, APTR. So if you store the address of this PTR to APTR into that one, PTR to APTR equals to what we are doing, we are storing the address of PTR to APTR. Okay, so like this. So using this, how I can access three levels of indirections you have to apply, because it is a third level pointer. Percentile d comma star PTR2 APTR like this. Put the semicolon at the end. Save the program, compile the program and check the output. Compilation, it is successful, and check the output. You got another 20. See here how we are accessing. Printing directly a value, printing a value using first level pointer, printing a value using second level pointer, and printing a value using third level pointer. So like this. Okay, simply as much the level of pointer you have, that many indirections you have to apply, that many levels of indirections you have to apply. Hope you understood this one. So we'll go to the next one. Okay, so yeah, over here I have to demonstrated that same thing, storing A's address into P variable and storing P's address into Q variable. Okay, storing A's address into P variable, we require first level of pointer that we are declaring over here, and storing P's address into Q, P's address, we require a second level of pointer, that is Q. Second level of pointer is nothing but Q. Like this you can declare, and storing A's address into P, storing P's address into Q. Like this we are redirecting the value and printing the value. Hopefully you understood. So go to the next one. Yeah, this demonstration we have to do. I mean, how many levels of pointers I have over here, instead of taking that confusion PTR, PTR2, PTR, PTR2, PTR2, APTR, simply I have taken 4 different variables over here. Okay, a variable, that address we are storing into P, and P's address we are storing into Q, and Q's address we are storing into R. So simply take this image into your notes or into your imagination, so that we can go ahead and we develop the pointer. So here declaring A, it is very simple, int A. Like this we do the declaration. Declaring P, it is a first level pointer, so int star P. Declaring Q, it is a second level pointer, so int star P. Sorry, control Z, not P here, we need to do Q. It's my mistake. Okay, int star, make it as Q. Oh, okay, declaring R, int third level, 1, 2, 3, R. Like this. So like this I declare all the variables, and I will store the address of A into this P. How we can store? To form this link, what I have to do, P is equals to and percent A. This link will be formed. Okay, to form this link I have to do Q is equals to and percent P. Okay, this link will be formed. This third link, R is equals to and percent Q. This third link will be formed. So to access A value from here, we need to put only A. To access A value from here, let us say A is holding some 20 over here. To access a value from this p, I have to put star p, one time indirection, because it is a first level pointer. To access a value from this q, I have to put 2 times indirection q. First indirection will take you from here to here, and second indirection from here to here, like this. So to access a value from r, you have to put 3 times indirection r. So first indirection will take you from here to here, second indirection here to here, and third indirection here to here. You will get a value. Likewise, you have to do all the processing in your program. Yeah, quickly I will write one program so to demonstrate this same thing. So I will delete this one. So now I'm starting my program. So what is that? So here put your header file hash include stdio.h, then int main of void, okay, take like this, declare variable a, declare p int star p, declare q int star q, declare r int star r, like this. So now store the address of a into p, that is p equals to ampersand a. Now store the address of p into q, that is q equals to ampersand p. Then store the address of q into r equals to ampersand q. So that links have been formed. Okay, links have been formed. So now reading the value of a into, yes, reading, yeah, assign the value a, assign the value a equals to, assign that value, so that is 20, whatever, okay, or else take some different value. Every time we are taking 20, so take some different value. This time 35 or 37 I'm assigning. So now how can I access a's value using p? So first I will access using a only. So printf, okay, printf, that is percentile d comma a, like this we can access using p. How we can access printf percentile backslash n percentile d, using p how we can access, apply first level indirection. So using q how we can access printf apply second level indirection percentile d comma second level indirection on q, okay. Then printf take backslash n percentile d comma apply third level indirection on r, okay. So like this, save it. Yes, from all these you have to get a's value only, that is 37, okay. Compile, compilation is successful, execute, run and check the output. So all 37s we are getting a value, a value, a value, a value, like this, okay. So in this way we can form these links, and we applied these links and we accessed a value from all these. So like this, pointer to pointer will work. Hopefully you understood this concept, how the pointer to pointer is working. Hopefully you understood. So quickly go to the next thing, that is pointer to void or generic type of pointer, that we will discuss in a, yeah, before that we need to discuss one more thing, that is, so let us say you have a pointer, you have a variable int a, and I'm not initializing any value to it, okay. I'm not initializing any value to it. Now what I'm doing is I will uh, declare a pointer for this variable int star p, okay. Declare another pointer for this p int star q, okay. Declare one more pointer int star third level pointer star r. So now I form that link, okay, something like this. First a's address I will store into p, and then p's address I will store into q, and q's address I will store into r, like this, okay. Then see, here, suppose if you want to read the value of a, if you want to read the value of a, what you have to do, scanf, using keyboard I'm reading the value, scanf percentile d, then we have to pass the address of a, isn't it? Address of a we have to pass. Yeah, how we can form, I mean, declaration is over, but I have not formed these links, isn't it? How we can form these links? So a is equals to, okay, no, not sorry, not a, here p is equals to and percent a, storing the address of a into p, then q is equals to and percent p, then r is equals to and percent uh, q. So now these links have been formed. Okay, so a's address we are storing into p, p's address we are storing into q, q's address we are storing into r. So now, yeah, when you are reading the value of a, you can put percentile d and percent a, because we need to pass the address of a. Or you can even put, because a's address we already stored into p, isn't it? Or you can even put scanf, okay, percentile d, comma, simply put p. Don't apply and percent over there, because p itself holding the address of a, p itself holding the address of a, so simply put p, percentile d, p. So we are reading the value into a, where a's address we stored into p. So as scanf will take the address of a, so instead of passing that address, what we said, we simply kept p over here. So likewise we can read. So whatever this scanf statement read the value, that value goes into a only, because we have a link over here, you can see. Okay, so next, or else you can even give the link like this, scanf percentile d. So how I can pass the address of a using this q? Only one time redirection you apply, one time redirection on q you apply, so you will reach p. Okay, one direction, one time indirection when you are applying, so you are reaching p. So p is holding a's address, so like this you can do. Or using r also you can read scanf, using r also you can read the value, that is percentile d, okay, comma, apply only two levels of r, so that r will reach p. P is holding a's address, so like this. Okay, all these things again we need to practice. Quickly go here. So up to this I will remove. Okay, up to this I will remove. What I have done, I have declared a, then I have declared p, q, r, and I am storing the address of a into p, address of p into q, address of q into r. So now printf, enter a value, because I'm using scanf, scanf, then percentile d, I'm reading only one value, and percent a, okay, address I'm passing. So after reading the value, printf, okay, a equals to, I'm checking the value what is there inside a, percentile d comma a. Okay, so I'm printing a value only over here, you can see. So now when I go for, here you put backslash n also, just to have the line separation. Okay, so now when I compile, compilation successful, when I execute, it is asking me to enter a value. Okay, enter a value, that a value, let us say I'm entering 56, so you are getting a equals to 56. So that means whatever value you are reading, that we are storing into a, and we are printing that one. So what I said, you can even read the value, okay, you can even read the value with the help of uh, p, isn't it, with the help of p, because p is holding the address of a, as you can see over here, p is holding the address of a. So here I will write that specification also. So p is holding address of a. How we formed this link, in the sense, by storing the address of a into p. And how we formed this link? By storing the address of p into q, by storing the address of q into r. Like this we formed all these links. Okay, so come over here, then instead of passing the address and percent a, instead of passing and percent a, we need to pass p only over there. Simply put p. So this will also give the same meaning, this will also give the same meaning. So where we are reading the value, we are passing p over here, p is holding a's address, so we are reading value into p, a only. So program successfully compiled. Now execute. So if I enter 45, that 45 is going into A only, because when you are printing A value over here, you are seeing 45. So whatever value using this P you are reading, P is holding A's address, so the value is reaching into A only. Okay, exactly that meaning I want to convey over here. So go to the next thing, using Q, how we can do, because Q is holding A's P's address. So we have to reach P, not P's address. We have to reach P. So what we have to do? Apply indirection once on Q, so that you will reach P. Okay, apply indirection on Q. Okay, like this. Apply indirection on Q so that you will reach P. So now we are reaching P. So compile. P is holding A's address. So ultimately, whatever value you read, that will go into A only, as you can see. Yeah, here. When you are applying only one time indirection on Q, that value, that address is reaching P. Okay, that value is reaching P. So P is holding A's address. So indirectly, whatever value we are reading, that is reaching A only. So if you use R, how many times indirection you have to apply? 2 times. Okay, if you are using R, apply the indirection 2 times. So again, this will also give the same meaning. One time indirection will reach Q, second time indirection will reach R, so will reach P. Likewise, where P is holding A's address. So the value what you read, that will reach into A only. That will go into A only. So let us say 35 enter, you are getting 35 only, as you can see. Very simple meaning and very helpful concept, this one. Okay, so in this way the address and indirection operators will work with respect to pointers. Okay, so void pointer, it is a special type of pointer, or we can say it is a generic pointer. See, when we discussed the concepts of what we call um, pointers, we said whenever you are declaring a pointer, you have to be sure with the type of variable whose address you are going to store into that pointer. Okay, suppose if you have integer variable, we said we need to declare an integer pointer to store the address. Suppose if you have a character variable, we said we need to declare a character pointer to store the address. Suppose you have a float or double type of variable, you need to declare a float or double type of pointer to store their addresses. So in programming, many of the times what will happen means, at you may declare many different types of pointers, and you at the time of declaration of pointer, you may be unaware of the type of variables address that you are going to store into that pointer. So if you have such a confusion where you exactly don't know what variable address you are going to store in a particular pointer, declare it as a generic pointer. Generic in the sense type independent. Without knowing the variable type, you can declare the pointer. So simply make it as void pointer, void star. So void keyword is also helpful. Void data type is also helpful in declaring the generic pointers. Okay, generic pointers. Generic means irrespective to the type. Irrespective to the type. Okay, so if you know, if you are not sure what type of variable address you are going to store into your pointer, declare it as a void pointer. Declare it as a generic pointer. So if you read the first statement, a pointer to void is a generic type that is not associated with a reference type. Okay, that is, it is not the address of a character, an integer, a float point, or any other type. So it is not at all going to be type specific. Okay, it is compatible for assignment purpose only with all other type. Okay, so where exactly we can use means, we can use it as assignment purpose. So when you do the program, you will understand that one. Okay, a pointer of any reference type can be assigned to a pointer of void type. So you can assign any type of address to this void type of pointer. Okay, and a pointer to void type can be assigned to any reference type. Okay, so and void pointer has no specific object type. It cannot be dereferenced unless it is casted properly. So as you don't know inside a pointer what type of address you stored, definitely when you dereference it, you have to cast it. Okay, suppose void pointer we are declaring and you are storing integer type of address into that. It is capable of holding integer address. But when you get the value from that pointer, you have to cast it properly. What is casting? Simply we have to specify the type at the time of dereferencing. Okay, so we'll do one simple demonstration on this program, so that I mean on this concept, that is void type, so that you will understand the void type pointer, so that you will understand the concept. So simply, okay, go to my whiteboard to explain the phenomenon. So over here, let us say, yeah, how we declare the void pointer. If you have an integer variable int a character variable character ch, okay, and you also have a float variable float f. Okay, so now three variables, and all these variables have memory locations, and all those memory locations will have addresses. So I'm declaring a pointer, let us say void star ptr. So now this ptr is capable of holding A's address, is capable of holding ch address, is capable of holding f address. Okay, it can hold all these addresses. So at one point you can make ptr is equals to ampersand a, like this, or you can even make ptr is equals to ampersand ch, or you can even make ptr is equals to ampersand f, like this. It is capable. This ptr, it is a generic type of pointer. Now generic means independent of type, so now it can hold the address of a, address of ch, address of f. At any point of time it can hold the address of any one type of variable. Don't expect that it will hold the address of all these variables together. That's the reason we are saying or over here, we are not saying and. We are saying or means either it can hold the address of a at one point, either it can hold the address of ch at one point, either it can hold the address of ptr at one point. So when it is, let us assume it is holding the address of a. So now when you dereference it, if it is an integer type of pointer, how we are dereferencing? If it is integer type of pointer, simply we are applying star before p. That's it. But now it is a void type of pointer. It is a generic pointer. You have to make the type specific. That is star int star, because it is holding integer address. Like this you have to do. ptr, sorry. Like this you have to do. Simply cast it with integer pointer. Or suppose if it is holding character address. So how we can dereference? Star character star ptr, like this, because it is holding character address. Now if it is holding float address, how we can dereference? Star float star then ptr, like this. So three different cases, three different scenarios of dereferencing. So quickly we go and we demonstrate the program. So take this program. Okay, so I have deleted. Now what I am doing, I'm starting my program, hash include stdio dot h, then int main of void, okay, then int a equals to 20, then character, let us say ch equals to, I'm storing one character e into that one, okay, put the semicolon here. Next is I'm declaring the pointer. Float also you can take, float, float f equals to 3.147. Okay, so now declare a pointer, void pointer I am declaring void star ptr. So in this ptr, what I am doing, ptr is equals to ampersand a, address of a I am storing. So now dereference it, get the value from that. Printf uh, a equals to percentile d, and using ptr, how we can dereference? Directly not possible, because it is a void pointer. We have to make the type specific over here, that is int star, like this. Okay, Doing directly, you will get error. So like this, if you do, what error you will get, you just see. Okay, save this program, compile, you will get error. Okay, here it is saying invalid use of void expression. Okay, invalid use of void expression, or dereferencing void pointer is not allowed. Okay, dereferencing void pointer is not allowed. Void star pointer not allowed. So what we have to do? Yeah, we said it is strictly not allowed to dereference the void pointer directly. So what we have to do? Definitely we have to go for casting. So that is, as this PTR now holding address of integer, so make it as int star PTR, int star PTR. Okay, so like this. Now you can dereference, you can get the a value. Compile, compilation, it is successful. Now run, you are getting a value as 20. Okay, hope you understood this one. So the next thing, what I will do, in the same a pointer, I will store the address of character. Okay, I will store the address of character, that is ptr equals to and %ch, storing the character address. So next thing, dereference, printf, okay, backslash n, ch equals to %c, because it is a character. Then how we can dereference? Star of cast it, character star, then put ptr. Now it is holding character address. So we have casted with character. We have casted with character. Now go and check character pointer. We have casted with character pointer. Run it, you can see. Using PTR, we are printing both the values. Here it is holding A's address, so it is printing A's value. Here it is holding character address, CH address, so it is printing character value E. Using PTR only, we are printing that one. So last thing, store the address of F. PTR is equals to and %F. Now printf, same thing. Print percentile F float value. Okay, F is equals to percentile F float value. So how we can dereference? Cast with float star, FLOAT, float star, then put PTR over here. At the end, put the semicolon, save the program, compile and execute. Compile, compilation successful, then execute, run it. See here, 3.147 zeros. Like this, we are getting the F value. From this PTR only, we are getting we are storing three different types of addresses into it, and we are accessing the values from it. So it is the concept of generic pointer. Generic means independent of type. Okay, in this same PTR, we are storing integer address, we are storing character address, we are storing float address. It is holding all those addresses. Simply at the time of dereferencing, you need to be sure what type of pointer address you are dereferencing. If you are dereferencing integer type of address, simply make it as integer pointer. If you are dereferencing a character address, simply make it as character pointer address. Okay, and if you are dereferencing float, then simply make it as float pointer. Likewise, hopefully you understood this one. So quickly go and see. After this generic pointer demonstration, we have arrays and pointers. Already I think we ran out of time. Yeah, it is almost 52 minutes. So I will stop this lecture over here. And this arrays and pointers, very two concepts we have, and that we will discuss in our next session. Okay. So with that conclusion, I will also start fourth unit in my next session, because this arrays and pointers, it won't take more than 20 to 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so this discussion we have to do, and after that the fourth unit I have to start. Okay, hopefully we'll um, wind up the concepts soon as possible. Almost we are like completed half of your fifth unit. Okay, so very few concepts we have in your fourth unit, only two concepts, structures and recursion. First we'll go with structures, because it is a very important concept. Structures in your fourth unit, first we discuss structures, then we discuss recursion, and after that we left with only files concept. Okay, hopefully we'll conclude soon as possible. Thank you very much, students.